Hi guys, today we'll discuss about the model 3.2, that is fundamentals of presentation. Okay, so what are the key ingredients I need to consider when you have to present something in form of presentation? Okay, so these are the syllabus concerning the model 3. Okay, the purpose of presentation. Okay, before you present or before you give a seminar is just like kind of presentation. You plan something, you get to know what is the audience, what is the interest of the audience, what will be the number of audiences, what materials you have to show, what in the form of which presentation, just without any presentation. For that reason you have to consider all those things prior to your presentation planning. Okay, and mainly there are following three purposes of any presentation: to inform, instruct, to entertain, and to motivate. To inform, instruct, it's like take for example a software engineering company. There can be HR, there is human resource. When suppose you join a company, the HR instructs you to how to be follow the rules of a company. What time is your office time? What time is your schedule for your office work? 9 to 6, 9:30 to 6:30, and what will be lunch? So that kind of things she's instructing you, or that HR is instructing you. Another example is that in case of a product, or else in a case of a construction a company, suppose we have employed any 5 or 6 workers, then we give the instructions on the business safety. If we pick the material, we have to wear the gloves. If we want to pick something, we can use the machines, how to operate it. To entertain, this is then self-explanatory. Yet in order to entertain, take for example the comedy shows. Okay, they has a sense of humor in order to entertain the people. Or example, you can see the singing competition, on which only the singing is there, and based on that competition the TV shows will be running on. That is to motivate, persuade. Okay, the motivational speaker, they see whether in the mass audience, a person who is a good motivational speaker who try to present how to motivate them, encouragement or persuade. And in this form we can take for example to uh, sell a product. Okay, in order to sell a product in a much more mass audience, we can use this kind of presentation. So the same explanation is given here. Okay, the next is, what do you understand by audience and local audience? Before you speak, okay, you need to understand what the audience is, how the audience is, what is the strength of audience, what are the audience interests in. Okay, if you like the previous example, if you're going for the sales application, you need to sell the product, right? Then you have to make an idea, you have to have an idea for the of your product, and also the audience must have an interest to listen to your products idea in order to uh, be purchased by them. Okay, and also you can persuade them by to buy that product, but depending upon how you present the same, it depends upon your communication. It depends upon your you can call hand gesture while giving the presentation. Okay, if you are involved in selecting the audience or speaking to a group of peers at work, you will certainly have information about their characteristics, but in many cases you will be speaking to a group of people you know little about. Okay, so this needs to be considered, or it's a main thing here. So you will want to investigate their needs and characteristics before showing up to speak. You have to make some homework of yours before, whether the audience are interested in which kind of category, well, if when you want to sell a product or whatever. So audience is must, the understanding the study is must. For effective presentation, it's necessary to develop an audience profile. Okay, Bowie it is a person. He has described 6 ways of developing an audience profile. The first is the identify the primary audience, that is recognize the decision makers or opinion molders in the crowd. Second point, determine audience size. Third, determine audience composition, recognize their needs, interest, attitudes, cultural barriers, etc. Fourth, gauge audience level of understanding. Fifth, anticipate the audience expectations, preferences, and sixth, estimate audience probable reactions. Okay, this all the points are based on the audience understanding the homework, how they respond, how will they react, how the information is stored, how well they know about the product, whether they know, whether they don't, whether they have it from the another source. If you try to sell the product, if the product is sitting in front of them, how what are the critics, what the questions they'll ask you, all those sort of things are being pointed here. Another point that needs attention is the cultural diversity of the target audience. Cultural diversity since various cultures in India, so a particular culture speaker speaks a little bit tone. Suppose if a different culture audience is present and if different culture speakers comes, so that cultural speaker has to handle that other cultural different audience locale. Okay, besides an understanding of the audience, another important factor which may affect the proper understanding of message is the local, that physical environment. Okay, the physical environment. Suppose I am in a class, I am giving a lecture. Suppose the current went off, so I have the PPT only the medium to explain you, not any chalkboard. So what should I do? I should think of something that's a backup in me, that doesn't affect the explanation from me to you in the class. So that depends on the local, how you well manage, whether it is an interpretation, whether it is a problem. Like suppose we have the podium in our college, that is the auditorium. Suppose the mic's voice is not coming, so how you can take a backup, can manage it, depends upon the locale, depends upon the speaker. Okay, the points are mentioned here. Place of presentation: a podium or table provided, public address system available, seating arrangement, visual aids available. If you identify a problem in the physical environment in advance, you can either ask for an alternative arrangement. This is the main task. You should ask if you face any problem on the stage, whether people are looking at you or not. Or modify material. Since I said you the previous example, if I don't I'm not able to present the PPT, which is where the current is off, then I have to use a chalk and board, visual aids and style to suit the environment. Okay, so this was the explanation of the fundamentals of presentation. If you have any doubts regarding this, just message me, and thank you for your time.